Hi again, this is Noah. I'm here with Ben, and today we're going to talk about external dependencies that you often need to reference in your applications.
So I think the important thing to note is that when you are managing your solutions, you should maintain all of the artifacts required to get your build set up for any developer at any time. One of the things that we often do is manage our external dependencies appropriately. So today we're going to show you the technique that we use. So what Noah's going to do is create a new folder at the root of our solution. Our typical naming convention is just external dependencies. I think you'll find that in other open source or other languages you might find this is the lib folder as well. Inside external dependencies, that's where we're going to put all of our references, those that aren't part of our solution itself. So we're going to use, for example, today we're going to use Elma, which is a logging component, which we use in a lot of our apps. So we're going to pull from the bin, get the .NET 3.5 version, and pull out the DLLs and XML file. We're going to bring that into the external dependencies folder after we add a Elma subfolder.
Okay, so at that point, I'll drop these files in there. Now, sometimes you run into a situation where you might end up using different versions of a DLL over time. Say when you start your project, Elma version 1.0 is out. Halfway through it, they upgrade to version 1.2. You may have written code that's compatible and certainly tested with version 1.0, and the upgrade to 1.2 might be a little bit of a risk. So what you can do in that situation is actually break up your versions into their own folders. So we're within the Elma folder at this point. I can create a new folder. Let's just say this is version 1.0 that we're currently working on. And I still keep the DLL in the root under Elma because all my project references will always be to that root version. But I'll take a copy of those files and I'll drop it into the 1.0 folder so that I have that historical reference. Now when version 1.2 comes along, or 1.1 comes along, I create a new folder for that. I might put, let's say I have version 1.1 in my clipboard now. I can drop those files in there as well. Go back to the root folder and just make sure I update the version I have at the root.
Great, so we're going to go back into Visual Studio. We're going to add a reference to Elma from our web application. One of the advantages of having the external dependencies managed outside of the project itself is you may have more than one of your projects inside of your solution referencing the DLLs. And more often than not, you're going to want to ensure that you're referencing that same file. So here, Noah's going to be navigating out to the external dependencies folder.
You just go up a level here. There it is.
Drill into Elma and select the DLL.
And we choose the one that's in the root here as opposed to one that's in a specific version folder because that reference will always be correct even if the underlying version changes.
Now, it's also nice to keep those multiple versions just in case you need to do a rollback. You want to always maintain those artifacts. So now we do have the web application referencing Elma. In one of the next screencasts, we can show you how that works. Thanks.